Here are the top stories for today, August 30, 2019. President Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to maintain good relations amid the territorial dispute in the West Philippine Sea. More parents join efforts to expose the recruitment of minors by the New People's Army. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao flies its regional flag. And a science group seeks to promote Los Baños in Laguna as a science and nature city.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping will maintain the good relations between the Philippines and China, even amid an arbitral award favoring the former in the West Philippine Sea dispute. The two leaders will continue to pursue peaceful means to resolve their territorial conflict. Benj Bondoc has the story.
President Rodrigo Duterte asserted the Philippines' position in the territorial dispute in the South China Sea during a bilateral meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing on Thursday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said Duterte was steadfast in raising the Philippines' arbitral win at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. The court sided with the Philippines and rejected Beijing's sweeping claims over virtually the entire South China Sea in 2016. Duterte said the arbitral award is final, binding, and not subject to appeal. However, President Xi reiterated the Chinese government's position of not recognizing the arbitral ruling, as well as not budging from its position. Despite this, the two presidents agreed that while their variant positions will have to remain, they should not derail the amity between their two countries. They also agreed that the basis of their friendship should be anchored on the 100-century-long ties between Manila and Beijing and on the benefits that their people will get out of their cooperation. Meantime, Panelo said she agreed on the need for a code of conduct to help resolve conflicts in the disputed area. The Philippines sits as the designated country coordinator of the ASEAN-China dialogue relations. The bilateral meeting also tackled the two countries' possible joint oil and gas exploration. Duterte previously welcomed a 60-40 deal on oil and gas development with China in favor of the Philippines. Duterte also raised the issue on the Rectobank incident as the president expressed appreciation of China's readiness to provide compensation to our fishermen who almost lost their lives.
I thank you and your government for the warm hospitality and excellent arrangements. We met just 4 months ago at the successful Second Belt and Road Forum. But given our friendship and the value of our ties, it is never too soon to resume our conversation. Today, let us reaffirm the value of our relationship, both personal and official, as well as the trust, the respect, and pursuit of mutual benefit that we have been building over the last 3 years. To be sure, there have been challenges, yet we are living up to our commitment to define our ties as a comprehensive strategic cooperation.
For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondoc.
President Rodrigo Duterte bagged 6 deals with China during his bilateral meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing on Thursday evening. The documents signed between the Philippines and China include 2 memorandums of understanding on higher education, cooperation, and science and technology cooperation. The Bureau of Customs forged 2 agreements on the Intergovernmental Agreement regarding cooperation and mutual assistance in customs matters and the project of China Aid Container Inspection Equipment. The Department of Finance, or DOF, signed the agreement on exchange of notes for the availment and use of concessional loan under a renminbi denomination loan facility and for a credit loan agreement of project management consultancy of the Philippine National Railways South Long Haul Project. In his opening remarks, Duterte said the meeting with Xi reaffirmed the value of their relationship built on trust, respect, and pursuit of mutual benefit for the two nations. He added that there have been challenges to the ties between the Philippines and China, but the two parties pursue their commitments through comprehensive strategic cooperation. The Department of Justice dismissed a petition to junk the cases filed against those tagged in a plot to destabilize the Duterte administration, which was detailed by whistleblower Peter Jomel Advincula, or alias Bicoy. A panel of state prosecutors cited the PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group's manifestation that the evidence it submitted in support of its complaint is already sufficient. The special panel of prosecutors also said it sees no more reason to suspend the proceedings. The panel likewise said it is without authority to disqualify the Office of the Solicitor General from representing CIDG in the proceedings. Advincula and 35 other personalities have been charged with sedition, inciting to sedition, cyber libel, estafa, and obstruction of justice. Advincula revealed the involvement of opposition personalities in the so-called Project Sodoma, which was allegedly hatched to discredit administration candidates during the May 13 elections. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao can now proudly fly its colors as Interim Chief Minister Ahud Murad Ibrahim on Wednesday signed into law the creation of the region's official flag. On the same day, the BARMM unveiled its official flag and allowed it to fly first in front of the BARMM Executive Building in Cotabato City. The Bangsamoro flag has the colors of green that reflects Islamic teachings and principles, white in the middle for peace, tranquility, and righteousness, and red for recognition of identity and self-determination. The white section contains the golden yellow crescent moon and a 7-rayed star representing the provinces of Maguindanao, Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, Basilan, Lanao del Sur, the cities of Lamitan and Marawi, the city of Cotabato, and 63 villages in North Cotabato that opted to join the BARMM. The red portion bears a white kris that symbolizes the protection and resistance of the BARMM against oppression, tyranny, and injustice. All Bangsamoro public offices, schools, colleges, and universities, government-owned and controlled corporations, and other government entities under the region are required to use and display the flag. The Bureau of Immigration reports custody of 4 Chinese drug lords released by the Bureau of Corrections. Meanwhile, mall security guards are prohibited anew from wearing costumes this Christmas season. More on this and other news around the metro from Janice Cabe.
The Bureau of Immigration on Thursday said the 4 Chinese nationals who were reportedly released by the Bureau of Corrections are now in their custody and facing deportation proceedings. The 4 who were convicted for being drug traffickers were identified as Chan Chi-Tue, Kin San-ho, Ching Che, and Wu Hing-som. The 4 are detained at BI's Warden Facility in Taguig City pending deportation and blacklisting. On Thursday, Senator Panfilo Lacson reported that several Chinese were released by the Bucor in the past 2 months. Meanwhile, House Committee on the Welfare of Children Chair Yeda Marie Romualdez has filed a bill adjusting the age of sexual consent from the current 12 to 16 years old as a means to protect the youth from statutory rape. Romualdez says the current age of 18 years below is far from the international average set by UNICEF East Asia and the Pacific region for statutory rape. Under House Bill 4160, statutory rape is defined as penetration with any body part or object against a minor under 16 years of age, as well as causing the engagement in sexual acts, including when the offended party is unable to reason or unconscious. The bill also penalized qualified seduction under 16 years old, as well as consented abduction. In other news, Senate President Tito Soto on Thursday said he is open to the proposal to make EDSA a one-way southbound highway while C5 into a northbound road. The one-way traffic scheme was proposed by GPI Engineers Incorporated to curb traffic congestion in the metropolis. Meanwhile, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian opposed the idea, saying that EDSA and C5 are not designed for one-way vehicular flow. Gatchalian noted that in order for this one-way traffic scheme to work, bus routes across Metro Manila need to be rationalized first. Meanwhile, the PNP will charge fines against mall security who will be spotted wearing Santa Claus costumes or anything apart from their authorized uniforms this Christmas season. PNP Socia Deputy Chief Sidney Villaflor said this is to prevent security threats perpetrated by criminals wearing costumes. Offenders, as well as their security agencies, will be fined 10,000 pesos, while repeat offenders may lose their permits to operate. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, more parents join efforts to expose the recruitment of minors by the New People's Army. Authorities seize shabu and assorted contraband in the North Cotabato District Jail. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Hey you! Sorry you couldn't make it to the Philippines, but it's okay. We haven't been up to much. There's just no escaping the heat. All we do is take showers. We're always on the move, yet we keep getting lost. We can't wait for the day to end, so we can just stay in at night. I'm kidding! We're having a blast. We haven't stopped eating and partying all day. Plus, we've made a bunch of friends. The only thing that would make it better is if you were here too.
Around 300 participants, consisting mostly of parents, staged a peaceful rally in Manila on Thursday to spread awareness on the deceptive recruitments of minors by alleged Communist Front groups. The members of Hands Off for Children and League of Parents in the Philippines started their rally in front of the University of Santo Tomas and ended at the Mendiola Bridge. Parents whose children were taken away by youth organizations Anak Bayan and Kabataan backed up the mothers who appeared in public to seek help to claim their daughters recruited by the leftists. LPP Secretary General Grace Ibona clarified that they are aware that activism is not a crime, but they expressed dismay on how some activist groups led students to join the Communist Armed Rebellion. Relisa Lucena, who was among the first mothers who sought help from authorities to have her daughter back, meanwhile hopes to encourage other parents who lost their children to communist fronts to show up. The city government of Jensan assured on Thursday that pork meat products sold in the local markets are safe and free from diseases. The city veterinary office made the statement in the wake of the outbreak of an undisclosed hog disease in Rizal province. The office said all pork meat products distributed in the city are sourced from local commercial and backyard farms, which remain free from major diseases. It also added that local producers do not source their pork meat and live animals from Luzon. As the third largest producer in the country, Region 12 or Soc-Sargen is expected to have a swine inventory of 816,000 heads. Meanwhile, South Cotabato's veterinary authorities appealed Thursday to hog operators to help prevent the entry of the deadly African swine fever in the province. The Provincial Veterinarian Office asked piggery owners to regularly disinfect, clean, and limit the entry of people in their farms. It is said that the ASF, which has affected parts of Asia and Europe, is a threat to the more than 42,000 swine population in the province. The provincial government had set up inspection and quarantine posts in the province's entry and exit points for meat products and live animals. The Department of Agriculture already declared that the outbreak in Rizal was not caused by African swine fever. For travelers in Cebu, terminal fee for international passengers will be included in the airline tickets for international flights sold outside the Mactan Cebu International Airport. The new policy on the so-called International Passenger Service Charge, or IPSC, will take effect beginning Sunday, September 1st. Passengers who have been issued or reissued tickets without the integrated fee shall pay the amount at counters inside Mactan's Terminal 2. Passengers who are exempted from the collection of terminal fees will be refunded in the full amount integrated in the ticket bought prior to September 1st. The Mindanao Development Authority is coordinating with airline companies to help strengthen the marketability of fruits from Mindanao. MINDA Secretary Emanuela Piñol met with officials of commercial airlines on Wednesday and appealed for a possible lowering of freight charges for fruits. Piñol says MINDA hopes to strengthen the fruit industry in Mindanao and provided greater income for fruit farmers. Piñol seeks to widen the market for Mindanao-sourced fruits in major cities in the country. He says improved marketability will entice fruit farmers to produce and harvest more. Piñol says he wants to follow up on the success of the first Minda Fruit Festival in Baguio City last weekend, where farmers earned 1 million pesos from selling 20 tons of durian, lanzones, mangustin, and marang. A suspected drug pusher was killed in Bulacan while numerous suspects were arrested in continuing anti-drug operations across the country. More on this from Janice Cabe.
A suspected drug peddler was killed after a buy-bust operation in Barangay San Roque, Angat Town in Bulacan. The suspect yielded 4 heat-sealed plastic sachets containing shabu, a homemade gun, and marked money. 7 other suspects were arrested in separate buy-bust operations in Norzagaray, Obando, San Ildefonso, Kalumpit, Bustos, Pulilan, and Hagonoy. In Bacolod City, PDEA agents seized 748,000 pesos worth of suspected shabu from 2 suspects in separate buy-bust operations here this week. Suspects Rainiel Rivera and Carlo Boncalon each yielded about 55 grams of the substance. In Zamboanga del Norte, authorities arrested Tikbuan Lagayan Gumaga, barangay councilor of Bongon, Siraway Town, and his nephew Kadu Muadi Gumaga for possession of illegal drugs and unlicensed firearms. The Gumagas were arrested in an operation by way of service of search warrants in Barangay Bongon, Sirawayon, Wednesday. They yielded a total of 24 heat-sealed plastic sachets of suspected shabu, assorted firearms, and live grenades. Meanwhile, police and anti-narcotics operatives seized improvised weapons and illegal drugs during an early surprise inspection on Thursday at the North Cotabato District Jail in Cadapawan City. Several small packets of shabu were recovered along with pliers, knives, iron, and other deadly weapons, mobile phones, and other prohibited gadgets. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
Up next, the DOH blames the environment and weather for the continuous increase in dengue cases in Bicol. A science group seeks to promote Los Baños in Laguna as a science and nature city. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
In this digital age, the internet and the social media have empowered almost everyone, not only to consume a practically endless amount of information, but also create and disseminate our own content. The youth are at the forefront of this digital economy, with young people all over the world being the most active users of the internet. The latest data from the International Telecommunication Union showed that around 70% of the world's youth aged 15 to 24 are online. While the internet has its many advantages, it brings some danger too. To promote media and information literacy, or MIL, among the youth of ASEAN, the Philippine Information Agency, in partnership with the Infocom Media Development Authority of Singapore, and with funding support from the Japan-ASEAN Integration Fund, spearheaded the ASEAN-Japan Media and Information Literacy for the Youth project. This will help the young users of internet to be more discerning and responsible in their online activities. In March 2018, a forum on cyber wellness was attended by representatives from public information, media, academe, and youth sectors of all the 10 ASEAN member states. Resource speakers provided valuable insights on 4 cyber wellness aspects: developing healthy digital habits, building resilience against cyberbullying and other negativity online, discerning consumption and responsible sharing of information online, and keeping safe online. Aside from the forum, other efforts were undertaken to promote MIL. PIA embarked on the development of multimedia materials with the University of the Philippines College of Mass Communication Foundation Incorporated. Also, an audience analysis was conducted to look into the youth's level of awareness in terms of online safety and their preferred messaging strategies. Along with these, the ASEAN core values and digital literacy was considered in the development of the multimedia materials. In May 2019, the production of multimedia materials was completed. Today, we are ready to present to the Philippines the outputs of this months-long work in the hope that this could help bring about a Filipino youth population that is responsible and safe online.
Dengue cases continue to increase in Bicol region despite the intensified control measures carried out by health authorities. The Department of Health reports at least over 5,800 dengue patients from January to August, while 40 of them, mostly children, have died. 102 villages across the region that were declared as dengue hotspots due to the increasing number of cases in these areas. The DOH said the environment and the weather are contributing to the spread of dengue, with more rains expected to remarkably increase incidences. Only 30% or 1,122 villages are holding a synchronized cleanliness and sanitation drive in their respective areas. On the other hand, the city government of Bacolod kicked off its campaign dubbed Deng Get Out of Bacolod Mag 4 o'clock Habit Na Wednesday afternoon. Mayor Evelio Leonardia and Councilor Cindy Rojas led the launch of the all-out war against dengue, which was followed by a cleanup in the city offices and the center grounds. The LGU has called on the people of Bacolod to clean their surroundings every 4 p.m., which includes putting away stagnant water where mosquitoes can breed. From January 1st to August 17, Bacolod has recorded 1,325 dengue cases, including 6 deaths, an increase of 106% from the same period of last year. And in our foreign news, 62 people have died and over 42,000 were infected by the dengue virus across Sri Lanka in the first 8 months of this year. The epidemiology unit on Thursday reports the highest number of cases from the Colombo district with 8,808 cases. The epidemiology unit said it had identified 5 high-risk districts including Colombo, Gampaha, Galye, Kalutara in the western province, and Ratnapura in south-central Sri Lanka. Medical experts have urged people to seek immediate medical attention if they suffer from high fever, uncontrolled vomiting, abdominal pain, dizziness, and reduced urination. Last year, over 50 people died and over 48,000 were affected by the dengue virus in Sri Lanka, with the National Dengue Control Unit launching programs to eradicate dengue's breeding grounds in several districts. Los Baños, Laguna is promoting science tourism as it dubs itself as a special nature and science city. The Los Baños Science Community Foundation Incorporated forged partnerships with the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Tourism, and Department of Education. This is to make science tourism a part of the learning activities of students, special interest groups, and researchers. The foundation opened the 11th Ciencia de Los Baños Science Festival at the UP Los Baños from August 28 to 30. One of the crowd-drawing features was the immersive virtual tour of Los Baños and its science community. These tours will promote the town's popular products like the buko pie, banana chips, garlic peanuts, among other processed stuff, including a trek to Mount Makiling Forest Reserve. History comes alive at the Museo de Emilio Aguinaldo as guests are treated to an interactive approach on the life and times of the Philippines' so-called first president. Teresa Montemayor has the story.
A non-traditional and dynamic mode of learning about the life and times of General Emilio Aguinaldo, where one can sit down and interact with characters from the past, runs at the Museo ni Emilio Aguinaldo. Fundación Santiago with the National Historical Commission of the Philippines and Cavite El Viejo Heritage Tourism Association usher in visitors with its Blast from the Past experience titled Sa Aming Tahanan, a first-person interpretation program. Staged through the perspective of historical and fictional composite characters, the project was first coined to highlight Aguinaldo's sesquicentennial birth celebration on March 22. FS consultant Cara Garilao said, aside from providing a new concept of learning, one of the tour's objectives is to humanize our heroes as they are transported back during the time of the President of the First Philippine Republic. The tour traces Aguinaldo's childhood, military exploits, and revolutionary struggles and life after the revolution. The interactive tour even allows the audience to ask questions from trivia items to unclear parts of history. Interested tour participants are advised to book ahead due to the limited 20 slots per tour schedule from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every other Saturday until December this year. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
Here's another look at today's biggest stories.
President Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to maintain good relations amid the territorial dispute in the West Philippine Sea. More parents join efforts to expose the recruitment of minors by the New People's Army. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao flies its regional flag. And a science group seeks to promote Los Baños in Laguna as a science and nature city.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And before we close for the weekend, it is important to remember that some of the greatest opportunities are disguised as challenges. So sometimes we need to realize that the best opportunities come in the element of the unexpected. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.